You know, when my wife and I encounter a challenge or a trial, or we have to overcome that, we actually grow stronger from that. It's a common assumption that it's a good gauge of someone's marital strength and how well they can overcome trials in their marriage.
Yeah, but new research just published in the Scientific American Mind magazine turns that conventional wisdom pretty much upside down. It seems to indicate that just the opposite is an even better indicator of the strength of relationships. Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend has been looking into the findings. What exactly does the article say?
You know, I didn't read it. It's just a lot of work. So I asked a lot of people that had read it, and they said...
There were so many big words.
I know.
They were
psychological. You know what? It's actually pretty fascinating news. And the one thing we got to get clear, it comes from the field of positive psychology, which is a completely different field than the field of psychology. Okay, It sounds weird. But positive psychologists, what they do is they go find people that feel healthy, that feel like their relationships are strong, and then they ask those people, what are you doing that others aren't doing? So instead of studying abnormal psychology or relationships that are struggling, they're studying people that are healthy and strong and trying to determine what they do that's different.
Is that a better approach, you think?
Totally different approach. That's my entire coaching philosophy is around, it's 10 times better to know what we need to do than where we're broken.
So you like that approach?
So instead of studying everything that's broken, all of our negativity, everything that doesn't work, so we can master what's broken, why don't we just study what we need to do and figure out a lot of ways to do what we need to do. So that's what this whole article is about. Positivity is the deal. And don't misinterpret. It's not just about be positive. It's about healthy couples do something with positive experiences that unhealthy couples don't do. Okay. That's what we're going to talk about. 3 points about the article that I wanted to get up front. Then we're going to give you a bunch of tools after, okay? Point number 1. The first point is simply this. Psychologists have found that thriving couples accentuate the positive in life more than those couples that are languishing or are struggling do. Meaning, healthy couples actually identify and focus and build up the positive experiences of life. They don't. Now, that's different than unhappy or languishing, depressed, negative people do. They don't even notice the positive experiences. Positive couples actually accentuate and push more on the positives of life. They enjoy the positives of life. They probably are talking about the positives of life. They're thanking each other for the positives of life. They're focusing on the positivity of an experience.
And it's not just coasting along through happy times, but they actually call attention to it and say, here's something positive.
Shine a big light on it. Wow. And you know what? When you start shining a big light on what's working, amazingly, it creates more things that work.
So it's a conscious effort in those couples' relationships.
And some of it is just natural. That's just how they work. And everyone out there, there's somebody on the couch right now eating Cheetos saying, whatever, I hate that guy. But when it comes down to it, it's not just about positivity. It's about actually choosing, making a choice to accentuate what's working. Find out what's working. Point number 2, and this is a really important part of the study. The second point was simply this. How couples handle the good news may be even more important to their relationship than their ability to support each other under difficult circumstances.
How they handle the good news.
Traditional marriage therapy and marital satisfaction research has been about how do we deal with the most difficult parts of a relationship, like conflict resolution. So what ends up happening is, as therapists and coaches, and we're helping relationships, we're always focusing on the part of the relationship that's bleeding. And all of the identity is about, if we could just fix and stop them from bleeding, then life will be better. This research is showing that's not necessarily the case. They're finding out by the healthiest people aren't even worried about the bleeding part as much as enhancing the feeding part. Don't worry so much about the bleeding, the worst 10% of your marriage. That does create negativity. But the other 90% can be very important if you are focusing on it.
Is the idea that if you're focusing on the feeding, the bleeding becomes less painful?
It becomes less painful. It also gives you, if you fed really well, you have the energy, the strength, the ability, the force to kind of push through the bleeding side. Think about it. If you're emaciated and then you're bleeding, big problem. Got it?
And I would imagine,
that
I'm here for you, trying to make it simple.
The feeding or those opportunities happen more often than the bleeding, because we probably have more positive times than we have the hard times, even though we dwell more on the bleeding, right?
That's the third key to the research. The third key to the research basically says, overall, members of happy couples also individually experience a higher ratio of upbeat emotions compared to negative ones than the people who are in unsuccessful pairings. Okay, let's simplify that. Research shows the average couple has 3 positives to every negative experience. Now, so think about that. If you're having 3 to 1, it would be much more beneficial for you to focus on positives because you're going to have 3 times more. In healthy marriages, they have a 5 to 1 ratio. A healthy marriage has 5 times more positives than negative. Thus, the reason when you focus on the positives, you're going to be actually inquiring or accepting more data and more experiences that you can find pleasant. One other interesting thing is 1 negative, though, can erase about 5 positives.
Really?
Wow.
If you don't handle it well. So that's where we got to still fix some of the bleeding, but focus on the positive. Now,
yeah, what do we do now? Now that we've identified that we want to try to focus on the positive.
very good question.
So now what?
And that, again, I was doing so much prep, I didn't have time to think about an answer.
It took me a week to read this article, and I didn't know where to go from
Now, here again, so we've talked about 3. Let me give you just 3 tools I use with couples. And you know what? This makes such a big difference. I'm going to even teach you one of my favorite tools that, hands down, I'm giving away the secret sauce of Matt Townsend's Townsend Relationship Center.
It's not Thousand Island dressing?
It's not Thousand Island dressing.
Okay.
No, it's barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Here they are, the 3 things. First thing, first advice I've got is start to look and you shall find. Meaning, if you make an intentional effort every single day to look for something that's working or something that's positive, you're going to start finding it. If I ask you to not think about this, none of you out there in listening land, or watching land, sorry, radio, don't anybody think of a pink elephant right now. Don't think about it. Pink elephant with a purple bow and an umbrella, a parasol.
Oh,
don't think about it.
Stop it.
If I tell you not what to do or what not to do, you're immediately going to do it.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about what's not working, you're immediately going to start accentuating it. If I spent 10 years with you talking about red Ford trucks, you'd start noticing them everywhere. If we start looking in our relationships and seeking what's working, we're going to find stuff. So a challenge today is identify 3 things your partner does for you today that really fed you. Now, the cynics out there saying, I can't think of any. Look, and you shall find. It could be anything. It could be something just simple. But if you're looking, you're going to find. Now, the second one is an important one. I'm going to give you a tool to help you look, too. The second one is when you see it, state it. State what you see as positive. State it.
To your partner?
Or to whoever. If you see someone's doing a great job at the front desk, say, you know what, you're doing such a great job. I get so many people telling me how great you are. And now why? Why would stating it be so important?
Does it reaffirm it to yourself?
To you.
And to them.
And to them. How many times have you gone through life hoping someone would compliment you or just notice? And they're noticing, but they don't say anything. Stating it. Now, one of the things in the research shows gratitude. People that are grateful and people that hear gratitude, it actually accentuates the emotion of the experience. So being grateful makes you feel more grateful.
And one great key, you have this T chart that you're going to make available for people here, right?
It's my favorite tool. Now, I'm giving it away. It's a chart. Now, we call it a T chart because it's in the shape of a T.
Very good.
Okay.
Stayed up all night long thinking of that one.
I was going to do a Q chart, but they're hard to do.
What do we do with this T chart?
In the T chart, we just put our names on it. My name, my wife's name, Matt, Marty. I felt loved when you. And then every single day, put this on your mirror and write down 3 things that your partner did that made you feel loved that day. Then she writes down 3 things a day. And then at the end of the night, you talk about it. These were 3 things you did for me that made me feel loved today. Then we try to find different examples all day long. Week by week, you start aggregating 21 entries a week. Times 2, that's 42 things a week that you both are doing well. Times 4 weeks, it's 160 whatever. Times 12 months. And what I found is eventually it just overwhelms your ability to negatively interpret.
The power of the positive.
Power of the positive. And this is on the website. And let me give you the web address, because a lot of people around here don't think I know that.
We're ready.
But it is studio5.ksl.com.
Oh,
you're
how
good.
did he do?
You're good.
Yes, but here's the deal, too. You got to get it fast because it's only going to be up one day.
Okay.
I don't want everyone to steal my tea.
Okay, all right.
And the other thing, date nights. So date night, September 12th. You got to come to our date night, 7 to 9 o'clock. Bring your partner. Tons of fun. We laugh. We cry. It's better than cats. You can sign up at 801-747-2121.
You're great, Matt.
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.
Appreciate you.
Still